And we are in line 49. Now here it is, another question starting in our last stanza. Well, second to last stanza, because the last line is a one-line stanza. So, Lord, where are your former loving kindnesses, which you swore to David in your truth? Remember, Lord, the reproach of your servants, how I bear in my bosom the reproach of all the many peoples, with which your enemies have reproached, O Lord, with which they have reproached the footsteps of your anointed, or Messiah. As we talked about that word study, that's a lowercase m. So going back, elaborate on 49. Lord, where are your former loving kindnesses, which you swore to David? And that swore to David gives us a reference scripture to 2 Samuel 7:15. That says, but my mercy shall not depart from him, as I took it from Saul, as I took from Saul, whom I removed from before you. And so that sends us to 1 Samuel 15, 23 and 28. 23 says, for rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has also rejected you from being king. And so that was Samuel talking to Saul. 28. So Samuel said to him, the Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today, and has given it to a neighbor of yours who is better than you. Wow. All right. That disobedience is as a sin of witchcraft. You know, that's no joke. And then so also 1 Samuel 16:14. That says, but the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and a distressing spirit from the Lord troubled him. And you know, we talked about that already before as well. You see, all these things it's intertwined. Things we have already covered, we're going right back to it. That's how the Psalms work. It's like we on this like roller coaster ride. We have highs and we have lows. That's just what we do within our own everyday life. And so we're going back and see things that, you know, our forefathers or ancestors, or, you know, what they have done, what they went through with. And so how can we overcome? How can we either continue that legacy of faithfulness to God, or how we can start our own legacy of faithfulness to God if they were not faithful? So going back to Psalm 89, it says, and then, okay, it also sends us to where it says, so which you swore to David, and so we read that, in your truth. And so in your truth is a reference scripture for Psalm 54:5. 54 line 5, that says, he will repay my enemies for their evil, cut them off in your truth, or in your faithfulness. And then going back to Psalm 89, it says in line 50, remember, Lord, the reproach of your servants, how I bear in my bosom the reproach of all the many peoples. And so that sends us to Psalm 69:9. That says, because zeal for your house has eaten me up, and the reproaches of those who reproach you have fallen on me. And then also in 19, he gives us one that says, and blessed be his glorious name forever. Sorry, read the wrong one. 69:19. You know my reproach, my shame, and my dishonor. My adversaries are all before you. And indeed, God does. He knows who are against us, and he knows who are for us. But what we don't want is God to be against us. Stay on the Lord's side. That's why I say, you know, keep the faith, keep the focus. Every time I end a chapter or end, you know, for the day, a psalm study, you know, keep the faith, keep the focus, and stay on the Lord's side. That is so important. And so now it says in 50, remember, Lord, the reproach of your servants. How I bear, okay, I read that. How I bear in my bosom reproach of all the many peoples. All right, so let's pause there in 50, and we'll pick it up in 51. And we should be able to close it out in the next segment. Whew.